Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. Today we're going to explore the magnificent city-state of Babylon. I'm excited to take you on this journey through one of history's most fascinating civilizations. Over the next few slides, we'll uncover the wonders, culture, and legacy of Babylon. So let's get started. Welcome to our second slide, where we focus on Babylonia's capital city, a true strategic urban center. As the heart of the region, this city was not just a political hub, but also a cultural and economic powerhouse. Located right on the Euphrates River, it benefited from the river's vital resources, facilitating trade and agriculture. This location was crucial for its growth and influence. When we talk about Babylonia, we're really highlighting how this city stood at the core of Mesopotamian civilization, shaping its history and development. This slide underscores the importance of geography and strategic planning in creating such a significant city that continues to inspire us today. Grew into a global power. Dating back to BC 2300, this history stretches thousands of years into the past. It all started as a small Akkadian town, modest in size but rich in potential. These deep ancient roots show how far we've come, transforming from humble beginnings into a major force on the world stage. Understanding this history helps us appreciate the resilience and growth that have shaped our identity today. All right, let's dive into slide 4, titled A New Era of Babylonian Rule. As we move forward, we see that Babylon transitioned into a more independent city-state, which was a significant shift in its history. This independence marked the beginning of a new chapter, where Babylon started to assert its own identity and power rather than being just a part of larger empires. You'll notice the icon here, rocket, symbolizing this rapid rise and transformation. It's quite remarkable because this period, specifically in the 19th century BC, marks when Babylon truly began to flourish. This era saw the city gaining prominence and establishing itself as a major player in the region. Now, the key point here is the emergence of the first dynasty, represented by the crown icon. This dynasty laid the foundation for Babylon's future greatness. It was during this time that Babylon started to develop its political structures, cultural identity, and economic strength. So, in the context of our overall story, this slide highlights how Babylon's independence and early dynastic period set the stage for its later achievements. It's really the beginning of Babylon's rise as a dominant power in Mesopotamia. Today, I want to talk about how we can engineer harmony with nature, specifically through some innovative flood management techniques. One key approach involves controlling flooding on steep ridges, which helps prevent damage and manage water flow more effectively. By implementing controlled flooding in these areas, we can reduce the risk of sudden, destructive floods while allowing the landscape to naturally absorb excess water. Another important point is the construction of infrastructure along both river banks. Building along both sides of the river helps us create a balanced system that supports flood control, navigation, and ecological health. It's about working with the river, not against it, to ensure stability and resilience. All of these strategies fall under what we call river engineering, a set of thoughtful interventions designed to work with natural processes. When we combine these methods, controlling flooding on steep ridges and building along both banks, we're fostering a more sustainable relationship with our waterways. This approach aligns perfectly with our overall theme of engineering harmony with nature, demonstrating that thoughtful, well-planned interventions can protect communities while preserving the health of our rivers. Welcome to slide 6. Here, we're focusing on the central role of a thriving administrative hub. This center for administration is essential because it supports the growth and organization of various sectors within the region. Next, we see the emphasis on thriving industries and fine arts. This highlights how the area isn't just about business, it's also a vibrant cultural scene, fostering creativity and innovation. Moving on, the urban and agricultural economy points to a balanced development. Urban centers provide opportunities and infrastructure, while agriculture sustains the community and supports local markets. Finally, the slide underscores a diverse society. This diversity enriches the community, bringing different perspectives, skills, and cultures together, which fuels overall progress. All these points connect to our theme of a dynamic, well-rounded region that balances economic strength, cultural richness, and social diversity to thrive in the modern world. Now let's take a closer look at the social structure. The slide points out that these classes are owned by others, but protected by specific social rules. This might sound a bit confusing at first, but what it really means is that although people like slaves, artisans, and farmers may not own themselves, there are established rules that define their roles and rights within society. Starting with slaves, they form the largest class. They often worked in various capacities, such as in households, farms, or workshops. Despite being owned by others, these social rules aim to regulate their treatment and duties. Next, we have free commoners. These were individuals who were not owned by anyone and had more personal freedom, although their rights were still limited compared to the elite. They often worked as artisans, traders, or farmers and played an essential role in the economy. Finally, at the top, we see the nobles and the powerful elite. They held the most rights and privileges, often owning land and holding significant influence over the social and political landscape. Overall, these three distinct social classes, slaves, free commoners, and nobles, show how society was organized hierarchically but still governed by specific rules that maintained order and structure. This social framework was fundamental to understanding how ancient civilizations functioned and maintained stability. Now let's take a closer look at the social structure. The working group consisted of clerks, farmers, and craftsmen. These were really the backbone of society. They played a crucial role in keeping everything running smoothly, whether it was through their work in the fields, their craftsmanship, or their administrative duties. Next, we have the mushkenes, who belonged to the upper class. This group included officials, priests, and wealthy landowners, people who owned much of the land and held significant influence and wealth. Then there are the awilis, which refers to the two groups of free commoners. These were individuals who were not slaves, but also didn't belong to the upper class. They had some degree of freedom, but were still part of the broader social hierarchy. Connecting this all to the bigger picture, these social divisions helped maintain order and defined roles within society. Recognizing these groups gives us insight into how ancient civilizations structured their communities and how power and labor were distributed. Let's take a look at some of the rights that were protected by ancient laws. One interesting way that slaves could gain their freedom was by marrying a free person. This was actually a recognized path to freedom, and it shows how certain personal relationships could influence one's social status. Additionally, slaves had the option to buy their own freedom, which meant they could save up money over time and purchase their release. This gave them a tangible route out of slavery, emphasizing that freedom was not always out of reach. It's also important to note that, generally speaking, slaves were treated well by their masters. While the circumstances varied, many slaves were provided for and treated with a level of respect that was sometimes surprising given the context. All of these points highlight a key theme. Slaves did have a path to freedom. These legal rights and opportunities show that the institution of slavery was complex, and that there were mechanisms in place for some individuals to eventually gain their independence. This underlines the ongoing tension between the restrictions of slavery and the human desire for freedom. Let's talk about some incredible achievements from ancient times that still influence us today. First, the invention of the 12-hour day revolutionized how we organize our time, laying the foundation for modern clocks and schedules. It's fascinating to see how such a simple division has persisted through the ages. Next, in astronomy, the 7-day week was established, which is still the standard across many cultures today. This concept helped structure our work and rest periods, connecting the heavens to our daily lives. And then there's mathematics, specifically the base 60 system developed by the Babylonians. This system is the reason we have 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour, a clever and enduring way to measure time. All of these innovations showcase the brilliance of early civilizations, and they tie into our overall theme of how human ingenuity has shaped our understanding of time and the universe. Now, let's explore how this civilization served as a vital connector of the ancient world through land caravans and sea voyages. These trade routes truly linked different regions, facilitating not just the exchange of goods, but also ideas and cultures. When we look at the imports, it's clear they brought in essential materials like metals, wood, and stone, resources that were scarce locally but vital for their infrastructure and craftsmanship. This reliance on imported materials highlights how interconnected their economy was with distant lands. On the export side, they were renowned for producing and sending high-quality, manufactured goods to far-off markets. These exports helped establish their reputation and economic strength across the globe. All of these elements, imports, exports, and the network of land and sea routes, made this city a true hub of international trade. It was a melting pot where diverse goods and ideas flowed freely, reinforcing their central role in connecting different parts of the ancient world. Let's take a closer look at this slide. First, you'll notice that the buildings have no windows facing the streets. This design choice is quite intentional. It helps maintain privacy and security for the residents while also reducing street noise and dust entering the homes. Next, we see the innovative use of mud bricks. These bricks are not only sustainable and locally available, but also excellent for regulating indoor temperatures, keeping homes cooler in the heat and warmer in cooler weather. This approach showcases how traditional materials can be adapted creatively for modern needs. Finally, the slide highlights one-story houses with courtyards. These single-level homes often feature central courtyards, which serve as private outdoor spaces for family activities, gardening, or relaxation. This layout promotes a sense of community and connection within the home, aligning with the overall theme of sustainable and culturally rooted architecture. All these elements come together to demonstrate a thoughtful, eco-friendly, and culturally resonant approach to building design, emphasizing harmony with the environment and community. When we look at the rich history of this region, it's clear that it has been a hub of artistic and cultural innovation for centuries. This legacy isn't just about the past, it's about how those creative roots continue to influence and inspire today. For instance, the experts here have long been renowned for their mastery in creating cosmetics and perfumes. Their craftsmanship set standards that are still admired around the world, blending art and science to produce scents and beauty products that are truly iconic. But it's not just about beauty. These innovations also extended into medicine. Early medical practices developed here laid the groundwork for treatments that would eventually benefit people far beyond this region. It's fascinating to see how these medical advances were intertwined with cultural practices, reflecting a holistic approach to health and well-being. All of these elements, art, beauty, medicine, highlight a culture deeply committed to innovation. They show us that this region's impact isn't just historical. It's ongoing, shaping modern practices and ideas. This legacy of creativity and progress really underscores the overall theme of how history and culture continue to influence contemporary advancements. The legacy of the magnificent city-state of Babylon truly lives on today. Its achievements in architecture, science, and culture have left an indelible mark on history that continues to influence us. Even thousands of years later, we are still inspired by their innovations and their contributions to civilization. For exploring Babylon, I hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for its significance and its enduring impact. Thank you all for joining me on this journey through one of history's most fascinating cities.